positive. Even if the Green Garden guy has disappeared, Gracie's still here. Huh? Yeah, Gracie's still here. Aren't you, girl? Hmm? She refuses. She won't go away. A week ago, I pulled half the hyacinths out of this pond and threw them in the landscape for mulch. A week later, I got twice as many as I did. Oh, these things are growing like mad. Yeah. We got a little bit of pink water lily this morning. And a little bit of very, very happy gray cat. Yes. An incredibly happy gray cat. Right, Gracie? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. It's a wonderful day. Yeah, well, Gracie cat's still here. Farm's still here, and, well, I'm still here, but the fact of the matter is that, well, things have changed so much in the last few years. I don't hardly recognize the country anymore. I don't recognize myself anymore. Bill, over the last few years, as we knew him, has died, as I knew him. Yeah, I'm not the same as I once was. The Green Garden guy, he's also died. His purpose, his usefulness. He was an advertising promotion for me. Well, I have little advertising to do yet, but I still have a whole nursery full of plants out here behind me, and I'm still honoring the sale I put up. I said, you buy two, I'm going to give you one of the same value for free. So it's still ongoing. Yeah, we got 33 1/3% off sale over here at the house. Come on by. I got plenty of good stuff. We got peppers. We got salvia. We got microgreens, cabbages. I got lettuce plants. I got mild jalapeno. How's that one, huh? More lettuce. Lavender. Oh, there's some scorpion chilies on the end over there, huh? And some ahis. Oh, how about cupuaçu? Yeah? Yeah, the rare cacao. I got all kinds of stuff. There's papayas here, green jabuticabas. I have the purple lilycoin, strawberries, aloe veras, all sort of stuff. I even have koa. Well, how about that? And regular koa. And back there in the rear, some beautiful Rollinias of the best variety. And some mountain apple trees and so on. Yeah, so I'm still here, and this channel still holds value for me. Perhaps as a sales tool. I still have a nursery. We still have plants. There's still stuff here for sale. And that is the reason this channel started. Yes, this channel did not start as a social media phenomenon. No, I just needed a way to advertise my business. Seemed like a real good way to do it. Get it out to the whole world, you know, free of charge. Pay for the internet and the camera. Yeah. That's where it got started. But things have changed so much. You know, I retired, and so the commercial aspect of the channel fell by the wayside. I still had stuff, you know, pineapples and stuff to sell, and I could do that with this camera, but it wasn't as important. Yeah, I'm no longer a work-a-day slave, a wage slave here. So, but as far as social media is concerned, folks, I've had it. Okay, I'm done. That's one of the things that has really changed for me. My attitude towards artificial intelligence, social media, and most digital technology and so on, it has gone straight down the tubes, and it's one of the reasons that this channel has lost popularity with people, because social media, smartphones, our digital technology, and artificial intelligence are very, very popular subjects with a lot of people. And when I diss them on this channel, along with a number of other things that I do not have good feelings about, well, people ran away in droves. And so there's a few hundred of you left out here that still bother to look at the channel. At one time, there were thousands. Okay. My attitude towards where the world's been going, I have expressed it. Now, when this was an advertising channel totally, and I was only talking about how I prune apple trees, you know, and stuff, well, I didn't get into trouble with it. But once I retired, making money wasn't important to me anymore, and I opened my mouth. Well, once I opened my mouth about the way I see the world and what's real here, that pretty much, I think, drove over 3/4 of the people away from this channel, and they'll never come back again. Now, I figure I'm probably right about that. Because otherwise I wouldn't have ticked off so many people. Yeah. If you ever get on the negative or dark side of life, you know, where you're opposing the general trend in society, you will realize real fast, the more people tell you you're crazy, and the more people say, I hate that guy, or whatever, the closer you are to the actual truth. Because truth is not a magic bullet. It hurts, and often it stinks. When it's dog crap on your shoe, it smells. Now, we have helicopters again. Yeah, volcanoes have been erupting. I hadn't had to fight with helicopters for quite a while. Hey! Get off of my property! Yeah. Oh, I had a buddy in Wisconsin who had a property on a beaver dam, and the guys with private planes used to like to come down low over that darn beaver pond and look at things, and that bothered him. It was noisy and obstructive. So he went out and he planted red flowers in the field in 4-letter words for the pilots. Oh, that was pretty funny. Yeah, well, Gracie's here. Yeah, Gracie's still here. She's right here, down here at my feet. She says, Bill is doing videos again. Well, we don't know how many. But now here's the nature of the beast, huh? Well, that is that, you know, so many things have changed for me that the reasons that I do things are no longer the same. This channel was one of those reasons. It's just no longer the same. I don't have a reason to do this other than, you know, come on down, 33.5, third rather off. You know, it's an advertising that works, but otherwise, you know, when I speak of subjects that are kind of off-center, most of the time I find myself singing to the choir. You know, there's a few people out there that disconnect from social media and such. You know, that's the reason why I wanted to turn my camera off. This was the last thread. I don't have anything else going on that connects me into social media, the internet, and any of that stuff. This thread is dying because my viewpoint says I don't like this stuff. Yeah, the people watching channels are saying, I like this stuff. And the guy is telling them, I don't like this stuff. Right? And it makes you dumb, by the way. Yeah, it'll turn your brains into mush. I don't know. Anyway, there are a few people, though. There are a few hundred people out there, dedicated followers. A few of them actually even seem to agree with some of my ideas. The rest of them just get a kick, and they don't want me to go away. Yeah, one in particular, whose name I will not mention. I mean, not because I don't want to. I'd be glad to acknowledge who you are, but I find problems with my camera and people. And yeah, I got a neighbor over here who, during a garden club breakfast, I accidentally put the camera on his face. He refuses to speak to me. He won't have anything to do with me at all again, because I once photographed his face during a garden club meeting. Now, Now, I'll assume if the guy isn't just a neurotic with paranoid tendencies, that the mafia, he was diss the mafia, or that the FBI is after him or something, and getting his face in the camera endangered his life, and he has certainly good reason to hate me for having done that. But you know, I don't think he crossed the mafia personally. I do know a guy that did. He ended up with his chest slashed and locked in its own trunk of his own car. You don't mess with those guys. But I don't think that's the case. He seems to be failing to forget that on the way to town, when you drop into the post office, go to the grocery store, stop at the bank, come back, go buy all the public cams, that you've had your picture taken dozens and dozens probably of times. I can't tell you how often, but there are cameras everywhere, and they are all taking your picture. Now, a lot of them, they delete at the end of the day or the end of the week, but a lot of them, like at the post office or the bank, that stuff remains on file for law enforcement if they happen to need it. And so nobody's asking to have your picture taken, and your picture is being kept in files, in places, everywhere you go. And well, this dude had a pain because I rolled the camera across his face one time. If the mafia isn't after him, it's just neuroses. The guy really needs help. But, I didn't ask. I never ask. There's a lot of people have camera phobia. Yeah, it'll steal my soul, Well, anyway, so much for that. But I will not mention this gifting person who showed up this morning, just because I don't want to embarrass him or get him upset or something. But 8 o'clock, me and Gracie, we're sitting out there on the porch. We're watching things, and I'm brushing the cat, and all of a sudden, the FedEx guy backs up in the driveway. Well, I jump up, open the gate, let him in. I get here, and what do I got? Wisconsin Cheese Mart, a box filled with cheese. Now, I immediately knew who did this. It was the cheese bomber that did this last time. He threatens me if I stop making videos, he's going to bomb me with cheese. And I'll tell you what, we'll look at this stuff, but this was no cheap cheese present. I've been getting emails from Wisconsin Cheese Mart recently because I did some business with them after I got the cheese from the viewer originally. I found them excellent company, fabulous service, marvelous product. Yep, and of course, I was familiar with many of the makers because I lived in Wisconsin for a long time, and I used to shop like Car Valley Cheese. I used to shop in their cheese factory, and a few of the others that Wisconsin Cheese Mart distributes for all these people, and they do it really well. Really well. Stuff comes perfect condition, and it comes at Midwestern prices to Hawaii. I got bombed again. And I opened the box up, and oh my goodness, yeah, last time I had a 5-pound wheel of medium cheddar, which is now finished. Yeah, and it even induced me to make macaroni and cheese twice from scratch, once for company and once for me and Ellen, and it was really good when you make it with fresh Wisconsin cheddar. This is a more mixed assortment. There's all sorts of different cheeses in here. I can tell you right off, because I get the emails, this was not a cheap thing. It was very nice. Thank you. But I'm telling you, this is going to cost y'all money, man. If every time I stop making videos for 2 weeks, you got to send me a $75, $90, I don't know, box of cheese, this is going to get pretty expensive, and I'm going to get awful fat trying to eat all that cheese. Or we're going to have a whole lot of fat neighbors sharing all that cheese. So, if you're, if you're in Iowa, you could, Buke is the hog butcher of the world. You could consider sending me boutique bacon. But I have gout and I really can't eat pork. Steaks are fine. Nebraska, yeah. Oh, yeah. How about out there? Got any viewers in Maine? I love lobster. I'll stop making videos for an entire month for a box of lobster on ice. Yeah, you got a buddy down there near the Gulf of Mexico, like Apalachicola, Florida. Hey, shrimp, dude, yeah. Yeah, some Appalachia shrimp do me just fine, man. Yeah, pack them babies on ice, send them out my way. It's- yeah, it's strange. You know, well, aside from that, I've been just going through a lot of changes, and the motivational factors behind what I do, they have changed considerably, and I can't do much about that. People change, that's all, and I'm just not motivated to this camera thing. I've not been playing my guitars. None of these things that I did earlier in my life are important to me anymore. I have realized that, I'm 3/4 of a century through this world. Many of us don't even live that long. I'm watching a lot of my favorite rock stars dropping dead before they hit that mark. Yeah, I was about 18, I guess, and doing an errand, dropping off a car at a body shop, and the wife, the guy who owned the shop, was a famous palm reader in the Chicagoland area, and well, just for the heck of it, she went and grabbed my hand, and at 18 years of age, gave me a palm reading. And this woman's bedside manner, I could step on her toes, because first thing she did is just whistle. She said, "You got the longest lifeline I have ever seen." She says, "You are going to outlive everybody that you ever knew and loved before you pass away." I'm going, "Oh, well, thanks. That's great news. But at 18, that guy, crazy lady, palm reading, it's a bunch of gypsy BS. Not the the city gypsies here. I don't do that. Okay. But, yeah, well, I myself actually, at a point, when I was younger, I learned to read palms, and I would do this at parties for fun. Yeah. I've even forgotten all of it. I don't remember how the heck to do it anymore. But you know, I, there are many lines on my palms that were not there when I had my palm read at 18. Since many lines have developed, and most of them are like the crescent moon, okay, the M on both hands, the mystic X on both hands, okay. The, these are signs that show up in your palm that are things you would really wish you hadn't ever had to have happen to you. Yeah. As life goes on, the message that's written in the palms of my hands becomes scarier and scarier. So, well, anyway. Well, as life moves along, I'm not 18 years old anymore, and I have to admit, it looks like the lady was right, because almost everyone that I ever knew or loved is already gone from this planet. They're not all gone. I got a couple of strong-hearted warriors here to live with me. Yet, yeah, I'm not alone. But she was right. Um, I feel really good this morning. Okay, some mornings I wake up and my sacrum is killing me and the sciatic nerve is giving me trouble, and I got a headache or whatever. Not today. I woke up, I don't have any aches and pains. I'm feeling really good. It was a wonderful day. Me and Gracie got up, walked around, watched the sunrise. She's down here right now. She's come running up. She saw something over there. You go over and see what's going on. Now she's back again. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I personally am beginning to believe that people say, "Oh, I want to live a long life." Well, let's qualify long and healthy life because I have days like this that I wake up and everything feels really good. Um, yeah, I like it. But there are other days I wake up, everything hurts, and I just feel miserable. And maybe I get some problem that I haven't got able to get off my mind, and so on. And then they reelect Donald Trump. Oh, yeah, well. So, you know, getting up and feeling wonderful is a real joy these days. I had that experience. So, my guess is I'm probably still here for a while yet. I have days when I think that's okay, and days when I'm not so happy about that. And in general, I think people who believe that living a long life, yeah, well, remember, when you do that, most people don't. So most of your friends, most of your relatives, you better make younger, newer friends as time goes on if you wish to have people around you. Yeah, because you end up all alone. Even a guy like me with a channel, and I got hundreds of people out there going, "Hey, Bill, I like that." Yeah. And I get dopamine feedback from y'all, but uh, it's it's no longer that important to me because I don't need your feedback. I know who I am. I know what I'm worth. You want to know what I'm worth? Ask my cat. My cat knows my true value. Yeah, she knows who I am. Anyway, so there you have it. I got this load of cheese, and so I'm doing a video. Hopefully, you found something in the video other than cheese. You know. All right, folks. Let's go have a look at this cheese. Here we have the cheese presented. The one here is this, comes in this wooden box, and it has Master's Reserve Cheddar, Grand Cru, which I've never had before. That's a new one to me. Here's another one. There's a Pleasant Ridge Reserve that's cave aged. Again, don't know that one either. Here we have a boutique Gouda, and it's clearly quite aged. I like aged Gouda, so that should be really fun. And here we have a pit smoked summer sausage. This Wisconsin is famous for its summer sausage, and the box came complete with sea salt herb crackers to eat this stuff on. And then we got this other killer cheese board over here. Okay, and so it's got this little board, and it's got a medium cheddar. This is Car Valley stuff, and I know this works. I've eaten their cheese, bought it before. Here is some Monterey Jack. They make great cheese, really good cheese. There's some Colby. Here we got some Pepper Jack. Here is a 1 year aged cheddar, and over here I have a Jersey cheddar. I know nothing about it. That's two kinds of cheese combined. Okay, so I've never had that one. The rest of these I'm quite familiar with. So there you have it, folks. A Green Garden guy stops doing videos, and what happens? I get bombed with cheese. I get another cheese bomb. Again, I'm not mentioning any names unless you want me to. I don't want to irritate anybody here, but thank you very much. This calls for a big cheese tasting party. It is going to have to happen soon. And, I am accepting lobsters on ice from Maine, shrimp from Apalachicola, Florida, steaks from Nebraska, and so anybody else out there that wants to make sure I make some videos, you know what to do. Hey, aloha.